Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the seventh session of Book Clubs Across Borders between Karachi and Kabul. Unfortunately, our students from Karachi cannot be part of the virtual program with you in real time, but they have sent in their messages and their summaries, their quests, their queries, and their journey as they have been reading these books, which we will be sharing with you as we progress further into the program. But for now, I would like to welcome all of you to our lovely little world of sharing commentaries and comments on books and talking about how and where we are with it, what we are discovering, and what these books are leading us to. So, what I would love to do today is to have each and every one of you give me a small summary of the book that you've read and what that book has meant to you and what you have understood. So, if I could have my friends in Kabul tell me about the book that they're reading and what they have learned from it, we can take the conversation forward from there. So, Kabul, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Alia. Who wants to talk first? Yeah, ladies. So it was a book about women. So let's give the floor to women first here. After that, we can have yes, first ladies. So can you talk? Just check your voice.
Can you hear me? Okay. Good morning to everyone. Nice to meet you all. Before talking,
I'm sorry, your voice is coming slightly from afar. So maybe if you could come closer to the computer or have the computer closer to you, that would really improve the quality of sound.
is that okay right now?
Maybe a little closer.
Should I come there, sir?
Yeah, you can come closer. Yeah.
Let's change our place.
You can actually sit here. Just turn the.
Do you hear me now?
Perfectly.
But before talking about the book, there is something I'd like to share you about women. You know, it is really difficult to talk about women because there are thousands of essays and thousands of books written about men, but while you want to talk about women, there are less things to talk about. And while you want to talk about women, you know, there are as much as to say that you lose yourself between words and thoughts. And one of the reasons can be that as I said, there are a lot written about men, but not a lot about women. And I think during the history, it has been a norm. Always men's achievements have been counted, but women's achievements are not counted. And then day by day, fortunately, it is being changed. Day by day, countries are getting opener and women are being counted. About the book, I want to say it was a great book, and each country needs a book like this. Each country needs a book about women, about its women, especially countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. It was very well written. The biographies were not too long and not too boring. A lot of years were not mentioned there to summarize them. And one good thing about them was that in each page there was one biography and one portrait. It made it very delicious, and its literature was very fluent. You know, all ages can read it, from children to adults, anyone who likes to read it. Reading the book, I catch 2 points, and the first one is that those who suffer life, those who are facing a lot of challenges, always do something to avoid that happen to someone else. An example can be Kishwar Nahid, who was my favorite woman from this book. She was a poetess who um, in partition saw a lot of challenges, was not allowed to go to school. And then she saw women who are being kidnapped, their feet bloodied uh, from running, and then she started to talk about them. She started to say poems about them. And the other point I got from this book was that I think I 1 minute, please. Can you give me that notebook? Sorry. Yeah, it was that partition has hardly influenced Pakistanis and Indians, and the most caste that they have influenced is women. You know, those who were adults or children in the time of partition, they it influenced their lives. An example was a woman who was raped by a group of raped by a group of men, and then she started to stand for her rights and for other women's rights. And to a conclusion, I want to say that it was a great book. Each country needs a book like this, and its literature was really perfect. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for those thoughts. And I completely agree. Every country should celebrate their women, and these books should not only be read by women, but it should always be also read by boys and men, because it is together that we form a society. So if we want to improve the status of women in countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, elsewhere, it is very, very important that the men understand why it is important for the women's role to be more defined, for us, for them to support the women so they can come out and be an equal partner in this modern world. And yes, it is only through understanding, appreciating, and celebrating these women that we can understand what probabilities and possibilities exist for us. So thank you for that. Yes, and I agree. Kishore Nahid is indeed a phenomenal, phenomenal woman in Pakistan. She saw things, she let them influence her, and she talked about it. And having a voice is just the starting of the journey. So we have another person from Kabul, I'm sure, who's wanting to give us their thoughts and opinions on the book. So Kabul, over to you.
Okay, now we can talk
Hello, do you hear me?
a little louder.
Okay. Hello, it's Yasin, and hope you're doing well. One of the fearless and brave women I have read about is Malala Yousafzai, who is actually, the inspiration for all generations and for all the people we have in this world. And he was one of the effective and dream chasers that I have read about and we have in this world. And actually, one of the powerful word that we have in this word is why. And actually, by why we can measure something, the importance, the value, and the importance, the value of something. If we want to do something, we just by questioning, just by questioning why, we can know the values and the importance of that thing. And absolutely, actually, Malala Yousafzai has done this, and actually, she found her way, and actually, you know, and Malala has told us that we must not accept everything just by questioning. If we want to accept something, just firstly question about it and ask questions. If it has the value that I do this, if not, if if it not, it doesn't have the value that I don't. And actually, one of the favorite, thing that I have learned from this book was the word of why and its power. And I haven't really noticed the power, in advance, but now I know. And actually, I'm on the way that to go forward and ask about everything that just I come across and meet him on a counter, and just all the power of everything just shows it is clear by the word of why.
When did she start asking why?
No, she was started asking why when she was when the Taliban took control of the Swat Valley, and she asked her father at age of 11. And actually, at age of 11, she asked her why the Taliban has control our country. Even they have control, but why they have banned their the educations of the ladies, the girls, and then he started belonging to the BBC. And at the age of 11, he asked all the world that why the Taliban did this, and it inspired all the soldiers and all the countries to start operation against the Taliban, and they have succeeded. But actually, after that, it has an accident happened to Malala that it hasn't changed her way, but actually it has made her way to go forward and do something more.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Wasim.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for that. And yes, one truly fearless story is the story of Malala Yousafzai from Swat, a little girl who experiences Taliban's influence on her region and how it impacts women and how it impacts education. And she's just a little girl who really likes to go to school and wants to continue doing so. And it's very upset suddenly when she's asked not to do so by her circumstances, and she stands up against it because she truly believes that going to school is every child's right. And she's a little girl herself, but she understands why it's important for her to go. And she fearlessly takes up a regime which is known for its violence, and she becomes collateral to their violence. But even though she takes a bullet to the head, survives it, she doesn't stop there. She continues, and to this day, she fights for the rights of education of women, especially in areas where it is not possible for them to go to school. She has been, her foundation has been building schools all across the world, in Africa, in Asia, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, everywhere where children, especially women, have no access to school. She makes sure that she provides them with an outlet. So it is this fearlessness and this absolute commitment that we have to a cause that makes us fearless. And whether we be a girl or a boy, it is that belief that when you have found the right thing, that you stand with it, that you cling to it, that you are able to break down, age old traditions, customs, which really do nothing and serve our society not at all. On the contrary, actually create problems for our youth, for our coming generations. And when we fearlessly tackle these situations, these issues, these customs, are we able to break free, not just for ourselves, but for our generation and for generations to come after. So thank you for that. And yes, I truly agree. Malala Yousafzai is indeed an incredible, fearless girl and a woman that everybody should know about, read about, and try to understand. So there are no more Malala Yousafzais needed in the world, right? That is the whole thing. That these women should be celebrated so that they don't become a unique identity, but they become one of the many, because every woman is capable of all of these women. So, on that note, I would love to know about other students who read the book and who their favorite character from the book was and what they would like to say about the book. So, Kabul, over to you.
Okay, sure, sure. Who else wants to talk about? Yes. And finish you might have to come here. they might share their videos.
This is right, sir.
Yes.
Hello, Miss Alia and Hamad. I'm Krishna Rahimi, and I hope you're doing well. So I'm going to talk about the book Fearless, that it was about the woman who lived in difficulties. And this woman, this book was one of the greatest books that I have ever read. And this book was about the woman who lived in difficulties and hard times and the battle with these problems. And also, I have to say that this book is one of an inspiration for especially Afghan women, because Afghan women are also living like Pakistani women in difficulties, hard days and times. So, however, all of these women and heroes had different backstories, but I found and discovered 3 points in common between them. First of all, I found that none of them give up. They tried hard, and therefore they achieved and they reached to their goals and dreams. And the second one, that all of these women that they battle with hard days and difficulties, they are symbols of courage, hope, mental power, and also they are inspiration for every man and woman. And the third one, they didn't only achieve their goals, but also they opened the way for other women to, and also they inspired, they appreciated, and they influenced other women as well. All in all, this book was about the woman. All in all, this book was proves that women are capable of doing whatever they have in their minds. As according to Miss Shamim Ara, that she was an actress, she says that women can do, and well, we are no. Shamim Ara says that women are powerful enough to change the world, to change the badness to greatness, to change the every badness that exists in this world to great and wonderful things. And they were doing, they are doing, and they will do and continue this way. And also, all of these women that were mentioned in this book proved, for example, like Malala Yousafzai, Shahida Malik, and also Benazir Bhutto, who was the first female prime minister of Pakistan. They all proved that women can do everything that they want, and they are much powerful, and they are the same as men are, not more and not less. And thank you so much for your nice attention.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, it's absolutely true. Women are equal to men, not better or not less than them. And that is what is at the core of this conversation. Being appreciated, being understood, and being accepted as an equal. And also understanding that we are capable of we are capable of much more than we are given credit to, from running a country to flying a plane to creating poetry to singing to, uh, you know, being ambassadors for peace and education. I mean, we are as capable, if not more, oftentimes than as men. And that is at the core of this conversation. Understanding the role of women and trying to understand what it is that our countries need when we talk about equality, when we talk about status of women, and when we talk about recognition of the rights of women in our countries. Why is it such an important conversation to have? That is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. Yes, we will talk more about the book, but at the core of what I want to talk about is, why do you think it is important that these conversations should be part of our debates or part of our academic world? Why do you people think it is important that we talk about the status and role of women in countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan? And I'd love to have your thoughts. So Kabul, over to you.
Okay, who else wants to talk? I think it should be one of the boys. Let's observe gender equality. You're right. Okay, so one of the boys, Ali, can you talk about your impression of the book? Ali, if you can come here, that would be much better. Thank you. Okay, I know you're loud.
Hi, do you have my voice? Okay. Um, about the book, firstly, I want to say that I learned that being a woman is never a disadvantage, and if women are empowered enough, they can uh, they can use being a woman as an advantage to them. As being the first one to do something is very special. As Asma Jahangir, my favorite Pakistani woman, a very successful woman who created the Human Rights Commission, independent commission in Pakistan, and also built the first female firm, law firm in Pakistan. I think it was in Lahore. And about why we should have these dialogues and why we should talk about with each other about women, I think it's not only the job of women to do everything. As in through the time, women uh, gone has gone through many difficulties and just working for themselves or their families and their a lot of responsibilities. They might not be able to work for other women around the world, around in their community, in their relatives, and we as women, we should also use this chance and to work for women empowerment and equality. And it's obvious that a society could not be in the best shape of it if women are only working, if women are only working for themselves and men are the successful ones. It's not balanced. If we see in a society, in a community like Afghanistan, women are really, there are few women who are really literate, who are empowered, who are working, and it's not balanced. And if we see that not only men are responsible for this, also women have has something to do with this. They haven't been working so hard through this, and we should let women to work hard, and also uh, uh, we should have, we can say we should support them, and having this conversation could bring out a big change, as we are introduced with a lot of wonderful ladies like Alia and all everyone who is here and in Pakistan, and it can empower both from the both sides, and also the boys that if they are here. I couldn't have the chance to speak with women, with successful women, with women who are empowered, but now I have, and I'm working hard to do my job, to do my part in my family, for my relatives, and everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali, so much. Wonderful
Thank you for
words.
your thoughts. Yes, and I completely agree that it is by celebrating women in all walks of life, by understanding their capabilities, and by understanding the heights that they can climb if only they have freedom to do so, and support and encouragement is what is needed at this hour. Like we said, we have our friends from Pakistan who have sent in their personalized recorded comments and summaries of the book that we'd like to share with you. So I'd like Hurmat to maybe take us through that, and then we will come back and continue this conversation. So Hurmat, over to you.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm going to share my screen, so let me know if you guys can see it. Okay.
Yes.
So we have 4 videos from Karachi. Let's start.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and great.
Can you hear the sound as well?
Yes, we can.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and greeting to those who are part of the book club. So the book we read, Fearless, is all about the 50 women of Pakistan who are connected to Pakistan and work for Pakistan. But we found that initially they were all like normal people having so many critical issues, their family issues, some of have society issue, and They fight for it, they fought about it, and they enhance their self. They increase their power, and they just did what they want. And I believe that after reading this book, we all should work for women empowerment. And from now onwards, I will work more for it, inshallah. And the quotes written in the book, it's like amazing. Like if I talk about my favorite personality, it was uh, Madam Noor Jahan. I love her song. I love her the way she sings, and I love the lyrics of her songs, her braveness. She sung for she sung for our army, and she just and the best part, she motivated our army in the battlefield.
Hi everyone, this is Amna Kamdar from the Citizens Foundation College, Qayyumabad, Karachi, Pakistan. Today we are talking about the book Fearless, the stories of 50 amazing women from Pakistan, written by Amna Sheikh Faruqi. However, the whole book is praiseworthy, but talking about my favorite part from the book Fearless, so the story of Mukhtara Mai was my favorite one. Mukhtara Mai, who was gang raped by 4 men just because of a fake accusation on her brother. In Pakistan, especially in the tribal areas, if there is a dispute between two tribes, they trade women in marriage to settle the dispute, which is against ethics, which is against humanities. In fact, our religion Islam does not allow these kind of dispute settlements. In these kind of situations, the female victims are expected to commit suicide to preserve the family honor, which normally they do. But in case of Mukhtara Mai, she showed her bravery and immense courage and raised her voice against the culprits. Her case was filed just after 1 month of the attack, and she got justice. Now, Mukhtara Mai is a women's rights activist, which is a huge success for Mukhtara Mai and for all the Pakistani women as well. In the last, I would just like to wish all the Afghanis Mujahideen Victory Day, which is coming on 28th of April. So, wishing you a very happy Afghan Victory Day. Thank you so much.
Greetings everyone. This is Isha Asif from TCF College, Kayambad, Karachi, Pakistan. Hope you all are fine. We are also fine there. The Fearless is about the stories of 50 amazing women from Pakistan that will fill you with hope, courage, and confidence. You will feel the pain of each woman in this book, from activist to politician, from artist to entrepreneur, from judge to lawyer. Every woman has their own willpower, and this book has seized the journey of the strong and inspiring women of Pakistan. This book has a story of those super women which we never know, from partition to the family, from politician to priorities. Every woman, every woman at their own struggle. Some was born with the art, while other laid their first stone uh, when something went wrong.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Parvez Khan and I am 12th grade student from TCF College, Qayyumabad, Karachi, Pakistan. The book Fearless is not only about the women of Pakistan, also has few stories about women across the world who came to Pakistan and stayed there forever. I love Shaida Malik Rutfo and Shami Makhtar's story the most. I admire the way author conveyed everyone's journey, not to forget the beautiful illustration that made the book more special. This book gives hope and inspires that not to give up on our dreams and bring change. A bold book that reflects all Pakistani women and highlighting that their voices are important.
All right, so these were the videos from our friends in Karachi. I hope you guys liked watching them. So Alia, back to you. Alia, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Hurmat. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed what your friends in Pakistan had to say about the book, and let's take the conversation further from here. So we spoke about different things that basically are at the core of this book, but the most and but the most important angle of this conversation is the celebration of women. And this book is actually, like all books that celebrate women, whether that be Fearless or Rebellious Girls, or any books that actually speak about women, are generally only read by girls. And that is such a bad and sad thing in itself, because these books should actually be read by boys more than by girls, because it is by reading these books and books like these that you understand what women are capable of, and you start looking at them through different eyes, and not just the eyes that you have been taught to look at, especially living in conservative cultures like we live in. And it is very difficult to accept, respect, and understand women who want to achieve things which are outside their culturally acceptable norms. And I'm so glad that we have boys in these book clubs who get to read these books and get to hear. And I really, really find myself filled with joy when I hear you boys speak about feminist issues from a very modern perspective, because it is only you people who are going to be the future. You are the future. You will be the ones who will change the world, and that is something that we really, really need at this moment in time, because frankly speaking, the world that we are growing up in is really not working out very well for us. So on that note, I would love to ask my Afan friends, who read the book and who'd like to talk more about it, and we can pick up different areas that you highlight in your responses to us to further carry on this conversation. So Afghanistan, over to you.
Okay, so who else wants to talk? You want to talk? Okay, let's come to Honia. Okay, Honia, please talk a little louder.
Assalamu alaikum. Hope to be fine. Instead of telling hi, as we are again in your Pakistan, so we should don't forget our culture and tell Assalamu alaikum. Hope to be fine. I'm Hania Yari, and I studied this book. It was somehow good because it was written only for specific about Pakistan women. I think that it was good that you should write about women of Afghanistan and other world also. But as I learned this book, and I want to tell that I learned from this book that people here there was I think there was so much women that do a lot for Pakistani women. For example, Fatima Jinnah, sister of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was the best person that I read, and I learned so much about her. She gave me a power that women can do everything. Women can stand beside men and work at politics, work for developing the countries, and also for having a good life they can do. And here is written a sentence that if one woman can destroy everything, why can't one girl change it? I think this sentence should written with gold and put it at somewhere that every person can see it, because by seeing this sentence, every person, no matter that girl or woman, can get power and can be that, yes, I'm a person that can change the world. I'm the person that can help my country's peoples and can develop my countries. So I think that if this book was I suggest the author of this book that it was good that you should write about women of Afghanistan also, instead of just writing about Pakistani women.
I think Honia, you can do that.
Yeah,
You can write about that.
inshallah, I will do in the future for every person, no matter that the woman is from Pakistan or from the Afghanistan or another country. I will write a book that every woman that work hard and spend their life for helping people, I will write about them, and I will prove that every person, every girl can change the world. Thank you so much.
So much, Sonia.
Thank you so much for that. And yes, I agree. Please go ahead and read and write a book about amazing women from Afghanistan. And I promise you, I will make sure that it becomes a part of a book club as well. So, on that note, anybody else from Afghanistan would like to speak about the book before we carry this conversation forward?
Okay, just give me 1 minute, Alia. I need to talk to them for 1 minute. So Hania, sorry, I said Alia. Alia, I gave my students an assignment to write about Afghan women as well. We didn't want them to feel so left out. So I gave them an assignment to write about a very successful Afghan woman, a brave Afghan woman as well. So Murtaza wrote about Sima Samar. I don't know if you know anything about her. Uh, so Murtaza is going to talk about Sima Samar, okay?
Hello everyone. I want to talk about Sima Samar and one of the most brave women in Afghanistan and the things that she did in Afghanistan and to our people in order to change and improve. So Sima Samar, first of all, she is from Ghazni and one of the activists of Afghanistan and the one who really tried hard for women in Afghanistan and for their uh, rights. And she did many things for our women, not just for women. She did for our men as well. And Ghazni and Jabri, many hospitals, many schools were made by Sima Samar, which they really helped our people in order to literate our women and men, our boys and girls, and to treat those who were those who had uh,
Yeah, I think she was also nominated for Nobel Peace Prize as well.
Yeah, for nominated for Peace Prize. So just we do not have just Samara in Afghanistan. There are too many other women who they really they influence in our society. And if if we are gonna write such a book in Afghanistan, I'm sure that we have many women in Afghanistan to consider them and to consider them as activists in Afghanistan, and they really did and changed our society. So if we consider a society, it needs both sides, hardworking, men and women, both side together. So just men or women only, they cannot improve a society. If just we see the situation in Afghanistan, I think we are so backward because we the women have no chance to take part and uh, in the society, and they couldn't show their abilities in order to change your society.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Murtaza. Thank you so much. Alia, and also Hormat, please have a look at our female students. I'm sure in the future you will see them a lot, on media. I'm sure they can bring a lot of change, in Afghanistan. I'm really, really hopeful here.
I can see a star in each and every one of you because we're all born with a star in us. When we're created, we are a star. It is for us to polish it, shine, and make sure that our light touches each and every part of the universe that we are existing in. And I truly believe that. And we all have a special light, and it is reflected in the world around us. I completely agree that if we want to change our circumstances, if we want to change the way we are stuck in a really difficult situation because of our country's economic, geographic, war, territorial, or or political situation, we have to understand that if we do not take the women along with us, it's not going to be a very successful journey. Qaida Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who's the founding father of Pakistan, he was the one who is like he created Pakistan for the Muslims of South Asia. In one of his speeches, he said that no country can rise to the heights of its glory unless it has its women with them. He was a complete supporter of women's rights, women's equality. And in the struggle for the birth of Pakistan, the women and the men were together hand in hand. And it is by their united efforts that they were able to carve out a nation for themselves. So I think if this is not a testament to the greatness that we all can achieve if we work hand in hand, then I think there is nothing else left. So on that note, I would love to know what more Afghanistan has to comment on this book, and then we will come to our closing because we just have 7 minutes on the clock. So Afghanistan, over to you.
Yeah, we can have one more person. Who is the lucky girl who wants to talk? Is it Shamim? Is it Sarah? Which one of you want to talk? Shamim? Okay, good. Okay, sure, no problem. Yeah, whatever you want to talk.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to meet you. So the first time I got this book, Fearless, I went through the beginning, and I read the names of the people, the women here, and I was really happy that two of the most wonderful women here are with my name, Shamim. So yeah, and there's Shamim Ara, who she was an actress, and Shamim Akhtar, she was a truck driver. And what really actually inspired me from this book is that these women, all of them, they fought for something. All of them. They wanted to fight for something, whether it was women's rights or whether it was politics or anything else. It was about fighting for something. And especially Shamim Akhtar, she became a truck driver, something women don't do mostly, and only men do that. So it was really inspiring. And two more women here, Saida Ghulam Fatima and Sabine Mahmoud. So Saida, she was actually, so she actually tried to free laborers who were in bonds and who made bricks. I mean, and Sabine, she actually worked. She had this coffee shop. I don't know. Where she used to talk about certain topics. And now both of these women, they did really dangerous stuff. Like they got themselves into something that was really risky. And that really inspired me because if it was me, I would scare away and not want to do something that's really risky and life-threatening. But they did that. They worked say they tried to remove those people who worked in bonds. Like trying to get someone out of bonds is really difficult because there are people who are going to come and kill you. But and even Sabine, she talked about the Balochistan conflict against the government of Pakistan and Iran, which is a very high risk topic. But they did that. And if I ever had the opportunity to talk with them and ask them, what really inspired you to talk about something or get involved in something that is risky? Like, how can you do that? I would love to ask them this question because honestly, I don't have that courage, but I wish I had. And yeah, these women inspired me a lot. And
and this is what I really want to know somehow. If I ever get the opportunity, I would love to ask them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shamim. You just said what I wanted to say. How did you know that?
So much. Okay, so Shabin, just to let you know, Sabine Mahmood, she used to run a cafe called T2F, which was basically a space where you could hold dialogues on anything, where she wanted to give voices which were marginalized. And that was the whole concept of T2F. But unfortunately, a few years ago, she was shot when she was when T2F was holding a conversation on Mama Kadir, and it was again silencing voices from Balochistan. That was the topic of the conversation. And while she was going uh, to her cafe, she was shot. So unfortunately, you'll never have an opportunity to actually ask her. But I knew Sabine very well, and I can tell you she was one of the most fearless women. She was not political, she did not have any agenda. She just believed, truly believed in the freedom of expression. She truly believed that every voice, whether it is something that agrees or disagrees with you, has a right to exist. If you want to silence voices, then you have to silence it with conversation, with logic, with dialogue. You cannot silence voices by killing people or by stopping dissent. And that is something that is a testament to Sabine's greatness, that T2F still exists. It is not as uh, active or as vibrant as it used to be when she was alive. But then, I mean, every country only produces one Sabine, and unfortunately, we lost ours. So, yeah, it is really, really hard sometimes uh, to have people who are absolutely amazing role models, who have the potential to change societies and to change the way we look at ourselves and we look at the world around us. But then sometimes they're taken away before their time is up. And it is by losing them that we realize how important their existence was. So I remember, like, when she was alive, she would call me for a lot of conversations. She would say, hey, this is happening, come, this is happening, come. And I would always be like, oh, I'm too busy, I can't take out time. And I would barely ever drop in. But I used to go to conversations that I used to enjoy. I used to love her conversations. She used to hold lots of candid conversations on Manto, who's a great legendary writer from Pakistan. Then Rumi, there was a whole Rumi culture, then on interpretive dances and all of that. And there were lots of conversations on the Second World War and any topic under the sun that you name that people wanted to talk about. She would have her space open for those people. She would host it. It would be a very nominally charged event. You could get in for 50 rupees, which is like barely any money. And you would sit there, you would meet like-minded people. And the idea behind was to inculcate a culture of acceptance of the others. So yeah. And I think what we have learned today, and what I think this book also is symbolic of, is that fear is something that is self-manifested. And if we are able to overcome our fear, we can reach and obtain the stars, because the light already exists inside of us. And on that note, I'm going to say bye to each and every one of you. I would encourage you all to keep reading, to keep talking, to keep discussing things. Never let your voice be silenced, because your voice is yours and it is your identity. So never let anyone take that away from you, or to tell you that you cannot have this opinion or that logic, because it is yours. So hold on to it, nurture it, nurture people around you. Be the strength for others who are not as fearless as you are yet, but are getting there. On that note, we will say Khudafis from Pakistan, and we'll catch you next month with another book. Like always, it was a pleasure being with you all. Khuda Hafiz.
Yeah, Khadafis. We will miss you guys, by the way. We'll miss
I
you
know
very
we're gonna
much.
miss you as well. Inshallah, we'll see if we can have another book club next year as well, so we can continue this, but with new books.
Okay, that's a relief. That's a relief. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.